This is the second video class on sequence. Before starting it, let's have a recap on previous class. In previous class, this was the problem 1, where one sequence xn is given like this: 1 by 1 into 3 plus 1 by 3 into 5 up to 1 by 2n minus 1 into 2n plus 1. We have to show that the sequence is monotone increasing and bounded above, and after that the limit of the sequence we have to determine. So what we did, initially we expressed the sequence in this way so that all the terms will get cancelled except the first and last terms. So ultimately we obtained xn equal to n by twice n plus 1, thereby xn plus 1, subtracting we get which is positive, so xn is monotone increasing. Then xn also can be expressed in this form, where from it is observed that it is bounded above and half is an upper bound. Next we have to show that limit of xn equal to half using the definition of limit of a sequence. So for any pre-assigned positive epsilon, we are able to show xn minus half less than epsilon whenever n greater than half into 1 by 2 epsilon minus 1. That is mod of xn minus half less than epsilon for n greater than equal to m, where m is the greatest integer part of this quantity plus 1. And lastly, for any particular epsilon, we can also evaluate the value of m, where m is a positive integer. For say epsilon is equal to 0.5, we have 1 by 2 epsilon is equal to 1 by 1, that is 1 minus 1 0. So we have m is equal to 1. So for epsilon is equal to 0.5, we have m is equal to 1. That means mod of xn minus half less than 0.5 whenever n is greater than equal to 1. This was problem 2. The problem was the sequence xn defined by in this way, where first term is root over of 6 and the second term to any term can be expressed as square root of 6 plus previous terms. That is xn plus 1 is equal to root over of 6 plus xn for all n greater than equal to 1. So squaring, we got xn plus 1 square, thereby xn square. Then subtracting, we got this relation, and xn plus 1 will be greater than xn if xn greater than xn minus 1, that is if xn minus 1 greater than xn minus 2, and lastly x3 greater than x2, that is if x2 greater than x1. This is x2, this is x1. Clearly x2 is greater than x1. Therefore xn plus 1 is greater than xn for all n. Hence the sequence xn is monotone increasing. Then we obtained that xn is less than 3 because xn plus 2 is positive, so xn minus 3 should be negative. So we obtained xn less than 3, so the sequence is bounded above. So monotone increasing and bounded above means convergent. Let L be the limit of this convergent sequence, and after some simplification we obtained this term. Here also same thing, L plus 2 cannot be equal to 0 because L cannot be equal to minus 2, L cannot be negative as all the terms of the sequence are positive. So L minus 3 must be equal to 0, and thereby L is equal to 3, therefore limit of the sequence is 3. This is problem 3. Two parts are there. First we have to show the sequence xn is equal to nth root of n converges to 1, that is limit of nth root of n is equal to 1 as n tending to infinity. And the second part is a limit n tending to infinity 1 by n into summation 1 plus root 2 plus 3 to the power 1 by 3 up to n to the power 1 by n equal to 1. We derived this problem using two different methods. The first method was like this. As n to the power 1 by n is always greater than 1 for n greater than 1, we assumed n to the power 1 by n is equal to 1 plus lambda n, where lambda n greater than 0. Thereby, after some simplification, we obtained the relation like this: 0 less than equal to lambda n square less than equal to 2 by n, as limit of 0 is equal to 0, limit of 2 by n is equal to 0, as n tending to infinity, therefore limit of lambda n will be equal to 0. And limit of lambda n is equal to 0 means limit of n to the power 1 by n is equal to 1, as this approaches to 0. So in this way we obtained by Sandwich theorem the sequence n to the power 1 by n, limit of this sequence is equal to 1, that is the sequence converges to 1. And method 2 we followed. We assumed xn is positive and xn is equal to n. After taking limit xn plus 1 by xn, we obtained limit of xn plus 1 by xn is equal to 1. As limit of xn plus 1 by xn is equal to 1 and all xn are positive, therefore by Cauchy's second theorem of limit, we must have nth root of xn equal to 1, that is nth root of n equal to 1. We know the Cauchy's second theorem of limit, which states that if all xn are positive and xn plus 1 by xn its limit equal to n, then nth root of xn its limit will also be equal to L. Next, by Cauchy's first theorem of limit, we proved that limit of this sequence is also equal to 1. As limit of this sequence is equal to 1 already proved, for n is equal to 1 we have this term, for n is equal to 2 we have this term, for n is equal to 3, for n is equal to 4, etc. Sum of such n terms into 1 by n as limit n tending to infinity equal to 1 by Cauchy's first theorem on limit. As Cauchy's first theorem on limit states that if a sequence xn has a limit L and we have another sequence which is obtained from first sequence by this relation summing all the n terms of the sequence divided by n, the resultant sequence will have also the same limit as L. This is problem 4. We have already discussed. This is an interesting problem. Two sequences are given here. The sequence xn is defined as x1 equal to x plus y by 2, xn plus 1 equal to xn plus yn by 2 for all n greater than equal to 1, and the sequence yn is defined as y1 is equal to root over of xy, yn plus 1 is equal to root over of xn into yn for all n greater than equal to 1, and x is given as greater than y and all x and y are positive. First, we have to show x1 is greater than y1 by arithmetic mean of two positive numbers is greater than geometric mean, and similarly x2 greater than y2 and in general xn greater than yn. Next, we have to show xn plus 1 is less than xn. This relation is given in the problem and we have just proved xn greater than yn, thereby xn plus 1 is less than xn, and similarly yn plus 1 is greater than yn. So we obtain xn plus 1 is less than xn, yn plus 1 is greater than yn. We can connect all xn and yn in a single relation like this. As y1 are increasing, we write y is like this, and as x's are decreasing, we write this way, and ultimately they are connected by xn greater than yn, which we have already proved. So all x and y are connected by this relation. Now yn is monotone increasing and x1 is an upper bound. Therefore, this is monotone increasing and bounded above, therefore convergent. Similarly, xn is monotone decreasing and bounded below, as y1 is a lower bound. So the sequence xn also convergent. So both the sequences converge. Next we have to show they converge to the same limit. If possible, they converge to two different limits, lambda 1 and lambda 2. That is, we have to show lambda 1 equal to lambda 2. Now this is the given relation taking limit both sides as n tending to infinity. This will give lambda 1. Limit of xn is also lambda 1 because xn and xn plus 1, they are the terms of the same sequence. So we got lambda 1 equal to half into lambda 1 plus lambda 2. So 2 lambda 1 equal to lambda 1 plus lambda 2. So lambda 1 equal to lambda 2. That is limit of xn equal to limit of yn. Therefore both the sequences xn and yn converge and they converge to the same limit. This is problem 5 of today. Xn be a sequence given in this manner, where xn is equal to 7n divided by n plus 3 root n. Two parts are there. First part, we have to show if limit of xn is equal to n, we have to show from the definition of limit of a sequence that xn converges to L. This is the first part. And second part, if epsilon is equal to 5, we are required to find out the value of m. So let us come to one by one. First part A. It can be observed from this xn that limit of xn after dividing both numerator and denominator by n, we have this tending to 7 as n tending to infinity. So from the definition of limit of a sequence, we are required to show that the given sequence converges to the number 7. So how can it be verified? Modulus of xn minus 7, this is the value of xn minus 7. After subtraction, we have this, which is less than 21 root n. We are omitting this term, that is why less than sign we get. So 21 root n by n means 21 by root n. So for any pre-assigned positive epsilon, modulus of xn minus 7 less than epsilon, whenever 21 by root n will be less than epsilon. That is whenever n greater than 21 by epsilon whole square. So we can say mod of xn minus 7 less than epsilon for all n greater than equal to m, where m is a positive integer, given by m is equal to greatest integer part of 21 by epsilon square plus 1. So for 441 by epsilon square plus 1. So in this way it is proved that the sequence xn converges to 7, that is limit xn is equal to 7. Now in particular for epsilon is equal to 0.5, what is the value of m? If we put epsilon is equal to 5 here, we have m is equal to greatest integer part of 441 by 25 plus 1. Now 441 by 25 gives 17 point something, whose greatest integer part is 17. So m is equal to 17 plus 1 equal to 18. Problem 6. This is our problem 6 of today. Here two sequences are given. This is the first sequence un equal to 1 into 3 into 5 up to 2n minus 1 divided by 2 into 4 into 6 dot 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 2n. And another sequence vn equal to 3 into 5 into 7 dot 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 2n plus 1 divided by 2 into 4 into 6 up to 2n. We are required to show three things. First, limit un equal to 0, limit vn equal to infinity, and half less than un into vn less than 1. Before starting the problem, we just want to mention two things. Number one, we know 1 by 2 is greater than 2 by 3. As this is 0.5, this is 0.67. Again, 3 by 4 is less than 4 by 5. In this way, we can proceed. So what we observe, if numerator is lesser, the resultant ratio will be greater if 1 is added to both numerator and denominator. 1 becomes 2 after adding 1, 2 becomes 3 after adding 1. As 1 is lesser than 2, the resultant ratio after adding both numerator and denominator by 1, that is 2 by 3, this ratio becomes greater. Same thing happens for all the ratios. Like 3 by 4, here also we see 3 is lesser than 4. So if we increase 1 to both numerator and denominator, we get 4 by 5. This ratio is larger than 3 by 4, as 3 by 4 is 0.75 and 4 by 5 is equal to 0.8. But the situation will be reversed if numerator is larger. For example, 3 by 2. For 3 by 2, if we increase 1 to both numerator and denominator, the ratio takes the form 4 by 3. Now 3 by 2 is equal to 1.5, 4 by 3 is equal to 1.3. So the resultant ratio decreases. So if numerator is larger than denominator, then by adding 1 to both numerator and denominator, the resultant ratio what we obtain, that will be lesser. Similarly, 5 by 4 is also greater than 6 by 5, etc. So for first un, we will replace 1 by 2 by 2 by 3, then 3 by 4 by 4 by 5, then 5 by 6 by 6 by 7. So the right hand side will be increased. So we will have un less than something. And for the sequence vn, we will replace the first ratio 3 by 2 by 4 by 3, second ratio 5 by 4 by 6 by 5. Ultimately, this product will be lesser than vn. And for un, the resultant product will be greater. So un should be less than 2 by 3 into 4 by 5 into 6 by 7 dot 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 etc. So we will start from this result. Let us see. As we told, un is lesser than product of these ratios. Now we multiplying the given un with this inequality un we obtained. We have un square is less than 1 by 2n plus 1. All terms will be get cancelled except 1 by twice n plus 1. So we get 0, un square is positive, so 0 less than un square less than 1 by 2n plus 1. Taking square root, we have 0 less than un less than 1 by 2n plus 1. Limit of 0 is equal to 0, limit of 1 by root over of 2n plus 1 is also 0. So therefore by Sandwich theorem, limit of un will be equal to 0. So first part is proved, limit of un is equal to 0 by Sandwich theorem. We have already derived, we have already discussed Vn is greater than the product of the ratios 4 by 3, 6 by 5, the obtained inequality. If we multiply this inequality with the given relation Vn, we have Vn square is greater than 2n plus 2 by 2 after cancelling few terms. Now taking square root, similarly we get Vn is greater than root over of n plus 1. As root over of n plus 1 approaches to infinity, as n tending to infinity, we have limit of Vn is infinity. This is our second part to be proved. Now let us come to the third part. Here we have to show two things, un Vn less than 1 as well as un Vn greater than half. Now multiplying the given Vn and the obtained inequality 1, that is obtained inequality 1 means this inequality. So the given Vn and obtained this un, if we multiply these two relations, we will get un into Vn is less than 1. Similarly, multiplying the given un and the just obtained Vn, that is the relation like this, we will have again a new relation which is un Vn is greater than half. So un Vn less than 1, which was obtained by multiplying given Vn by obtained inequality 1, and un Vn is greater than half, which is obtained by multiplying given un by the obtained inequality 2. So combining these two relations, we have half less than un Vn less than 1. So all the three parts are proved here. Problem 7. Show that nth root of 73, limit of nth root of 73 equal to 1, first part, and limit of nth root of 1 by 37 equal to 1. So we are required to show two parts, nth root of 73, limit of that equal to 1, and limit of nth root of 1 by 37 equal to 1. Let us do it one by one. As we know, 73 is greater than 1. Therefore, nth root of 73, that is 73 to the power 1 by n, is also greater than 1. We assume 73 to the power 1 by n is equal to 1 plus an for some an greater than 0. Therefore, raising power n, we have 73 is equal to 1 plus an whole to the power n, which is greater than equal to 1 plus nan, because we are not writing the entire terms, only two terms. So an is greater than 0 and an less than equal to 72 by n. After taking 1 in this side, we get 72 and thereby dividing by n. So we are getting 0 less than an less than equal to 72 by n. Therefore, from this relation 73 to the power 1 by n minus 1 mod equal to an. Again an is less than equal to 72 by n. So what we are getting? 72 by n approaches to 0 as n tending to infinity. Therefore, this approaches to 0, that means 73 to the power 1 by n approaches to 1, that is nth root of 73 converges to 1. In other words, limit of nth root of 73 equal to 1. Next part, as we know 1 by 37 is less than 1, so 1 by 37 to the power 1 by n is also less than 1. Without any ambiguity, let us consider 1 by 37 to the power 1 by n is equal to 1 by 1 plus bn for some positive bn. Bn is positive means denominator is greater than 1. That means 1 by 1 plus bn is less than 1, which is compatible with this inequality. So we have 1 by 37 to the power 1 by n equal to 1 by 1 plus bn for some positive bn. Raising power n, similarly we have this. Here we are getting this is less than equal to 1 by 1 plus nbn. We are taking only two terms, and which is again less than 1 by nbn because we are ignoring this 1. Therefore, we have 0 less than bn less than 37 by n after putting 37 in this side. So, for all n, we are getting the inequality 0 less than bn less than 37 by n. Now, from this inequality, we have 0 less than 1 minus 1 by 37 whole to the power 1 by n. We can write 1 by 37 to the power n from this relation. So 1 minus 1 by 1 plus bn. After simplification, we are getting bn by 1 plus bn, which is again less than bn less than 37 by n. Bn by 1 plus bn is less than bn because 1 plus bn is positive. We are neglecting that. So we are getting less than bn, and bn is already less than 37 by n. So our obtained result is this. What is 0 less than 1 minus 1 by 37 to the power 1 by n is less than 37 by n. Limit of 0 equal to 0. Limit of 37 by n equal to 0. Therefore, limit of this quantity is also 0. That means limit of 1 by 37 whole to the power 1 by n equal to 1. In other words, limit of n tending to infinity, nth root of 1 by 37 equal to 1. That is the sequence. Nth root of 1 by 37 converges and converges to 1. Problem 8. Show that the sequence xn is convergent where xn is given by xn equal to root over of n plus 1 minus root over of n, and also find out the limit of xn, that is where the sequence xn converges to. It is given that xn is equal to root over of n plus 1 minus root n. Rationalizing numerator, we have n plus 1 minus n by root over of n plus 1 plus root over of n. Rationalizing means multiplying both numerator and denominator by root over of n plus 1 into a plus root over of n. After simplification, we have here n will get cancelled. Therefore, xn equal to 1 by root over of n plus 1 plus root over of n. So, putting xn plus 1 by n, we get xn plus 1 is equal to 1 by root over of n plus 2 plus root over of n plus 1. Now, it is always holds root over of n plus 1 is greater than root n, and root over of n plus 2 is greater than root over of n plus 1, because n plus 1 is greater than n and n plus 2 is greater than n plus 1. Adding these two inequalities, we have first term plus first term equal to this, and second term plus second term will give this. So we are getting this inequality, which is greater than. Taking reciprocal, the same inequality becomes with less than sign. Now, the left hand side term is nothing but xn plus 1, and the right hand side term is also nothing but xn. So we are getting xn plus 1 is less than xn for all n. So we can say xn is monotone decreasing sequence. Also, xn, after rationalizing, we have xn equal to 1 by root over of n plus 1 plus root over of n, which is always positive for all n. Therefore, it is bounded below. So xn is monotone decreasing and bounded below. Therefore, xn is convergent. Next, limit of xn. Limit of xn equal to limit of this quantity. As root over of n plus 1 and root over of n both tending to infinity, so denominator tending to infinity, so the entire quantity tending to 0. Problem number 9. Show that the sequence xn given by xn plus 1 equal to half into xn plus 25 by xn, where x1 greater than 0 is convergent, and we are also required to show it converges to 5. First, x2 minus x1, x2 will come, putting n is equal to 1 here, minus x1, subtracting we have 25 minus x1 square by 2x1, which is greater than equal to 0 for x1 less than equal to 5. Similarly, xn plus 1 minus xn also greater than equal to 0 for xn less than equal to 5. So for all n, xn plus 1 greater than equal to xn whenever xn less than equal to 5. But this greater than equal to sign and this greater than equal to sign will be replaced by less than equal to symbol if x1 greater than equal to 5, or here xn greater than equal to 5. So combining these two cases, we can say the sequence is either monotone increasing for xn less than equal to 5, and the same sequence is monotone decreasing for xn greater than equal to 5. So in either cases we can say the sequence is monotone and it is already bounded. Therefore, the sequence is both monotone and bounded, and thereby it is convergent. We say the limit of xn equal to lambda, whose value we have to determine. So if limit of xn is equal to lambda, from the given relation, taking limit both sides as n tending to infinity, this will be lambda, lambda and lambda, because limit of xn and xn plus 1 are both lambda because they are the terms of the same sequence. So lambda equal to half into lambda plus 25 by lambda, which when simplified it gives lambda is equal to plus minus 5. But lambda limit of xn cannot be equal to minus 5 as all the terms of the given sequence are positive. Therefore lambda must be equal to 5. So limit of the given sequence xn equal to 5. It is convergent sequence and it converges to 5. Problem number 10. Test for convergence of the sequence xn where xn equal to 3n factorial by n factorial cube whole to the power 1 by n. We first consider xn as given in the question, thereby xn plus 1 equal to replacing n by n plus 1 and dividing, we get xn plus 1 by xn equal to 3n plus 3 factorial divided by n plus 1 factorial cube into n factorial cube in the numerator and 3n factorial in the denominator. After cancellation, we have n factorial q and n plus 1 factorial q will get cancelled, and we will get three similar factors n plus 1 in the denominator, and here also 3n plus 3 factorial and 3n factorial. After cancellation, we will have in the numerator 3n plus 1 into 3n plus 2 into 3n plus 3. So ultimately we are getting this expression, taking limit both sides, limit n tending to infinity, and dividing numerator and denominator by n cube. We have limit of the expression 3 will come from this factor, and this factor, and denominator will become 1. So 3 into 3 into 3 will give us 27. So we are getting limit of xn plus 1 by xn is equal to 27. As each xn is positive and limit of xn plus 1 by xn we are getting 27. Therefore, by Cauchy's second theorem on limit, we have nth root of xn, that is nth root of 3n factorial divided by n factorial q is also will be equal to 27.